Back then, the only people living in the kiln were some feral cats. You know, that gives you an idea that the only, of how kind of wild it was around here.
Yeah, 15 years ago, this area was just sort of this like forgotten place. And the mill was just full of abandoned bicycles. It was horribly underused. They had just replaced the floor at Assembly Hall. They kept the old hardwood that they tore up because eventually they turned it into little plaques and knickknacks that they sold. But that bay right over there just had this giant mound of shredded hardwood basketball floor.
I remember being in the building when it was still under construction and hadn't really been fixed, and we were sitting in there. There was like, holes in the wall. There was like super noisy old industrial fans, and with Pat East and I think the mayor at the time, I think it was John Hamilton, who we were all sitting kind of where the IU Ventures office is now, like before they built it all out, like listening to their plans.
It was just a big brick shell with, it would literally crumbling. I mean, there were bricks laying all around the building that had just, fallen off. I would frequently have lunch over at Upland, and for years I just sat in that window over there staring across at this place going, man, somebody's got to do something with that building someday.
There are actually enough businesses within this area that we are creating density so that somebody could go from a startup to a mid-sized company to a big company and then back to a startup. Like there's the capability, but we didn't have the collisions, the connection, the human connection that we needed.
That's always been the vision, right, is to have, for this to be a neighborhood, not like what you think of as a business park.
Dead at night.
That just goes dark at 6 p.m., right? And so we knew we didn't want that, right? We wanted this to really be a neighborhood that was active, and we knew it had to be mixed use. We knew it had to have office and residential and retail. And we already had retail. I mean, Upland was always kind of the anchor here. So, I mean, kudos to them because they set up shop there when there was nothing here. There were no apartments there. There was no, you had to go way out of your way to go to Upland. And now it's like, people are just walking by.
We always knew that we wanted to have daily density of collisions and activity. We knew we needed a home eventually. And we came over here and toured the mill and the kiln and the spaces and tried to figure out what they were going to look like and who was going to be in them and how that was going to work, knowing that eventually that would be our destination. Deciding after we sold Recite that we weren't going to move away from here. We looked at different places and stuff, but that we were going to stay here and try to build a tech scene here as opposed to go somewhere else was a big deciding moment.
The mill, we've just opened the new set of offices. I just walked through that today, walked up the stairs and round. It's very exciting to see that new spot open. And so they're trying to create this great tech hub here and, just attract companies. Despite the headwinds of Bloomington, it's a smaller town. There's some challenges in terms of expensive living, and but I think, there's a definite possibility to have, a real sort of resurgence here and make it a tech hub.
Most of them are solo, right? They're not hiring employees, they're solo founders. And when you're in that situation, you're really lacking the support and dynamics you might find at a larger company. The trades district brings that to the founders. If you start on your own in your house, you're basically in high school. If you come to the mill, you're going to join graduate school.
And so seeing the people who've been here the whole time, but then seeing the kind of flood of new people come through and, who get inspired and who don't realize they can build businesses. And then because of the support of the mill community, they realize, oh no, I can do this. They go speak to the ISBDC, they speak to the chamber, and then they can really discover that there's a huge amount of support and that there's hundreds of other people who've been on the same journey as them and they're not alone. Coming now we're going to have a hotel coming, and maybe this other space is going to be developed, so it's going to just look entirely different.
I don't know if you know who Tony Shea is. He's the founder of Zappos. He was a friend of ours that used to recruit out of IU. I actually met him at the Irish Lion here in Bloomington. He was working on the downtown project in Las Vegas, trying to build a Bloomington, basically. I remember he said to me, he's like, I have $350 million and all I want to do is this in downtown Vegas. He couldn't do it. He wanted just the Kirkwood strip, right? He wanted Irish Lion and the uniqueness and the different things that are there, and you just can't replicate that. Like, it's such a valuable asset that it exists organically here.
I'm really excited because I feel like this is the first time we've decided that the university, the city, the community are on the same page and they're working together. We're not jockeying for position anymore. We're actually seeing a vision together and how we're going to achieve it, and we want to help each other achieve it. You come over here to the mill and the forge and the tech park, and you see our future.